Hello guys, we are starting, which makes me so excited. I am sorry for a very slight delay that we had. That's because nothing ever goes as planned. We frequently have problems, we frequently have technical issues and mistakes. So probably this is what it is the majority of times. So I'm very happy to finally be with you, and today we will be talking about IELTS speaking part 3. I very much wholeheartedly greet here everyone who came from the IELTS speaking bootcamp. It's been wonderful 3 days, if I'm honest with you. We had practice, we had theory, we had so many questions answered. It's crazy. We literally had lots of knowledge and skills given to you absolutely for free on the course of these 3 days. So today is the not continuation, it's probably the finishing line, if I may say so. It's the closure of the IELTS speaking bootcamp, but don't be sad, because during the presentation you will learn so many different things that are very important and practical for your IELTS speaking success. What are we going to do? Well, the duration of today's webinar, of this live stream, will be around 1.5 hours. Probably we might stay a bit longer, probably a bit shorter, we'll see. But that's overall approximately 1.5 hours. If there are some problems with your tech, again, everything might go wrong. It's normal. Nothing ever goes right. So if there are some problems with your tech, just check your internet connection. There is a broadcast delay, so if I see your comments, I may not reply instantly because the delay is around 10 seconds. So probably I will take some time until I reply, so don't worry about that. If you do have any questions, just save them until the end of the session, because I will have separate time that I just saved for the question. So don't worry if you have anything you want to ask, any doubt about speaking or about IELTS in general, just save the questions until the end. Okay, the agenda for today's lesson, for today's live stream is this. First, we will talk about speaking part 3, tips and strategies for your success. Obviously, everyone wants to score band 7 and above, and that's completely okay. I did that, and you guys can do this as well. There is nothing to be fearful of. Everything is completely acceptable. I mean, achievable is a better word than acceptable, but your any level that you have is acceptable for IELTS. Don't worry if your level is B1, if your level is B2, if that's C1, great job. But regardless, it's acceptable to take the test. The test will just show you what the level is. Then we will also have a look at the sample answers. I will give you a very clear strategy on how to work with the sample answers and how to make them work for you. Because, you know, many people just go Google random sample answers and then try to incorporate them in your own speaking, when in the reality, that's the worst thing you can ever do for your IELTS speaking. Then must-have components of a band 7 answer. This is something that I am very passionate about. Understanding what are the components, the kind of stepping stones to your success is very important. Then, how to get 7+ band score in 2 months of preparation. Very hot topic. Everyone wants to do that. So I have a very clear way of showing you how to do that. I see a question, is this live stream interactive? It is. You will send me questions, I will answer. I will also ask you questions, guys, during the live stream, and I will be expecting answers in the chat. Oh, I also see a comment that tomorrow someone is going to face their speaking test. Wow. Hopefully this lesson will be very inspiring for you and eye-opening probably on some things maybe you have not considered, some points in your preparation. So I'm going to deliver you the majority of value, like the most value that I possibly can. Okay, and the last thing here is feedback to your speaking practice. Hopefully, the majority of people here are people from the IELTS speaking bootcamp, and we practiced a lot during the bootcamp. We had group calls in audio format, we had calls in the video format, and there was a lot of practice. So I put together some comments to your speaking practice, and this feedback hopefully will also be for you individually very useful. So I just saved it until the end of our live stream. Good. The ideal result of today's live stream is that everyone leaves the stream with clear understanding of what to do. I, for some reason, have here IELTS reading module, but of course you know that this is IELTS speaking module. So that's probably my mind was somewhere off, thinking about something else. That's clearly speaking module, and you know what we're talking about. So the ideal result of today's live stream is that everyone understands what to do exactly to score 7+ in the speaking module. The reading one, well, probably not today, but unfortunately that's my typo here. Nothing to be ashamed of. Okay, how do you get the most of it? What do you do to leave this live stream and really feel fulfilled, feel motivated, and just have all this energy inside you and knowledge to progress? Well, first of all, focus. Please, I really urge you to turn off your phone, not to be distracted by anything, and just focus strictly on this session. And also invite your friends to join. Why not? Send them the link to this YouTube live stream so that they can also join our party. Then be active. I'm sorry, that's a notification. Be active because I will ask you some questions. I want to see your answers, and this is your chance to clear all your doubts about IELTS preparation. So ask questions and answer them so that we have this interactive live stream, two-way communication, and this energy exchange. And lastly, take notes. I absolutely love when people take notes because this is such a great way to remember things better. You know, when you just listen to something, you don't necessarily remember it for the first time, but then when you write it down, when you think about it twice, and then maybe when you review it, this is your real learning point. So get a pen and notebook and just take some notes. Right, remember that this is always a shared responsibility. I will give you all of the knowledge that I have, all of the skills that I have, so that you can boost your IELTS score. But this is also your responsibility. Nothing will work unless you guys do. All of my knowledge, skills, and tips that I will give you today will not work until you start working, until you also acknowledge this responsibility, take it, and start implementing the things that I will tell you. Also, one last thing, just take photos and videos of this live stream. On the left, it is a photo of me taking a photo of my IELTS reading strategies live stream. That was the previous one. I just took a photo and I posted it on my Instagram stories, and I encourage you to do the same. Just take a photo of whatever slide you think is the most interesting for you, the most insightful for you, and upload it to your Instagram stories. Tag me so that I see it. It will be so nice to see what slides were the most valuable for you guys. So definitely do that. Okay, we are starting the content part of it, which makes me so excited. Let's just meet each other for a bit, right? We have this amazing chat. Everyone is so active on here. So where are you from, guys? Just let me know in the chat. I see Punjab, India, my favorite Punjab region, Indian region, I'm sorry, that is Punjab, because I have so many followers from that. I'm personally from Russia, so very interesting, very interested. where you guys are from. So definitely let me know in the live stream. I see some Uzbekistan here, Indian guys here, wonderful, Kazakhstan here. I love this. Spain, wow, that's not a very common country to have here in our live streams. Colombia, Turkey, Dubai, Russia, welcome Russia, India, Kazakhstan, Argentina, Uzbekistan, wow. Again, Dubai, Bangladesh, Mexico. Wow, so many people from across the globe. Again, India, Russia, Kazakhstan, Turkey, Spain, Uzbekistan. Again, India, so many people from this region, Asian region. Great, loved it. Mongolia, wow, my favorite country. I have a long-time follower from Mongolia with whom we are in such a great relationship. Peru, okay. By the way, in Peru, that's my life dream, to go to Machu Picchu, to climb Machu Picchu and to see that beautiful landscape. This is literally the goal of my life, so I will be very happy to visit you there. Thailand, love that. Okay, Iran, Ukraine. My native country is Ukraine. Great, great. Love this. So many countries. Okay. Why do you need IELTS? Let me know if that's for work, if that's for study. I got such an energy boost from you guys. Yeah. I'm just reading the chat and falling from my train of thought. Yeah, I got just such an energy boost from you guys sending me all the countries. So why do you need IELTS and what is your level? Here are some guys just introducing themselves on my screen right now on this slide. So very interested, what do you guys want to do? Study, master's degree, permanent residence abroad, immigration, job. Wow. A lot of people just wanting to change their lives with IELTS. This is so inspiring. Have you guys ever prepared before? What's your English level? Where are you at? Like, what is your target score? Just let me know if I can help you more, because I definitely can help people with B1 level more than people with A1, for example. Okay, almost upper intermediate, 7 band overall, perfect. That's a great score. Okay, lots of people sharing their stories. Oh, so inspiring. I love this. Great. So let's move on. I see people with 6 band score, with 7, with 8 as their targets. Perfect. This is all the great range of band scores to study very productively. You know, when you are at the band score 4, for example, it's gonna probably be a bit more challenging and long to get to your target. But if you are at the band score 6, I was at the band score 6 when I started my preparation. So you are in a good place, let me tell you. Okay, so my mission here, guys, is to help you become an IELTS superhero who is not afraid of the test, who knows how to tackle all questions, and who uses effective strategies to score 7+. Because yes, we all can be IELTS superheroes. There is nothing difficult in becoming a guru of this test, a ninja if you want, as someone who really aces all of the modules. This is all achievable. So this is my mission, and I really want you guys to help become this person. Great. And the last thing is that today I want to give everyone a gift. This particular slide deck, you don't need to take screenshots if, for example, you are not sure about you being able to remember all of that, right? Some people take screenshots, some people see the most important slides and write them down, but I will send this slide deck to everyone who wants to recall, right? Things that we will talk about here, who wants to review. So everyone will get this slide deck, and you will learn how to do that in the end of this live stream. There will be a secret phrase for you to send me so that I can send you back the deck. Great. So we are going really into it, diving deep into the speaking part 3 strategy. We have already talked about part 1 and part 2 at the bootcamp. Now let's really ace the part 3. This is the most difficult part. Let's face it, the parts in IELTS always go up in difficulty, so number 1 is always easier than number 3. Here you will see questions about very abstract ideas, something of the general knowledge, yes, but also something that challenges your attitude, that challenges your broad knowledge. These will not be just simple questions about your everyday life, or what you like to drink, what's your favorite book, or who is your friend. I mean, you will not see questions like this here. These are really challenging questions, more suitable for someone who is of a better level in terms of their mind development, I guess. Someone who has a broad outlook in general. For example, some examples of such questions are: do the efforts of a single person have an impact on the world as a whole? Or is it more important to find new friends or stay in touch with old friends? I mean, no one has a right or wrong answer to this. You always are somewhere in between. There are always shades of whether this is correct or not. So don't bother if you think that your answer is not correct. It's just not possible. Your answer will always be correct. It's just how you express it. The examiner here really looks at the level of your English knowledge rather than on how correct or not your answer. Then, the second point is coming up with ideas. This is something you will definitely need to master if you want to be a superhero of the speaking part 3. But before you start sending messages to the chat saying that, oh no, I can't come up with ideas, it's my weakest point, I have impeccable English, but I never can come up with an idea, and this is why I failed the test. Who feels like this? Let me know in the chat, because among my students, I have dozens, if not hundreds, of people who are completely sure the biggest problem in the speaking is ideas. They think that their biggest weakness is coming up with ideas, and this is the only reason why they fail the test. Do you also think this way? Do you also share this attitude to ideas? Let me know, because I'm very interested who here also thinks that generating ideas is a difficult task. Okay, I see that some people indeed share the same opinion, that they are not sure if they can generate ideas. Yes, I see the pain, I see the struggle. So many people don't know how to generate ideas and they are not sure they can do it quickly. Oh no. Well, ask yourself, can you comment on the topic in your native language? Do you have any attitude, any idea, if you want, or position on this topic in your native language? For example, if I ask you the previous question from the previous slide, do the efforts of a single person have an impact on the world as a whole? Like, imagine yourself sitting with a bunch of friends having some tea, like me here, having a cup of coffee, and just talking about this. Will you have these ideas in your native language? Well, probably you will. Probably every person has something to say in their native language about any topic out there. Probably you will not sit silently just staring at your friends, just drinking that coffee and not saying a word. Probably that's not you guys. Probably you will have this attitude and this position, and maybe you will defend it. So if this is the case, then you have ideas. You just don't have the language abilities to express them. And this is a much bigger problem. So definitely differentiate between these two. whether you truly don't have ideas, and this is when you cannot even comment on this topic in your native language. And when you have the ideas, you can talk about this in your native language, but you just don't have the language abilities. You just are too limited in your English language to express them. These are completely different things, and they have completely different approaches to them. Okay? So I just want to give you this understanding that this is not the ideas problem. Stop complaining that you cannot generate ideas. Start thinking maybe this is the language problem after all. Okay, let me read the chat for a bit. Yes, I see people agreeing with this. I see people agreeing that this is just the language level. Yeah, I see a comment, even in my native language, it is a bit challenging. Of course, this might be the case for you. Some questions might be challenging even in your native language, and this is nothing wrong with it. Just make sure you clearly differentiate between your own problem, if this is really an idea problem or if this is more of a language problem, because the way you work with them are completely different. For the language problem, you will need to work on your vocabulary, on your grammar, on your structure of ideas, but for the ideas problem, you will need to work on your broad outlook, on reading more, on being knowledgeable about what's going on in your life, okay? So these are different things. Right. In this case, the broad outlook is really your best friend. Why? Well, because obviously you need to have this basic knowledge to comment on different questions, right? You need to be knowledgeable about what's going on right now in the world, to have your own opinions, of course, and for this you really need the broad outlook. How do you build it? Well, obviously you read a lot. Just make it a habit. You read a lot in English. That's books, that's magazines, that's news, and make sure you go out of your comfort zone. If, for example, you are an avid lover of football, you are the biggest fan on the football pitch, and you read all the news and magazines and articles only about football, this is great, but you know what? It's probably not going to broaden your outlook further. It's probably not going to help you acquire this English vocabulary that is connected to speaking about society, about environment, about education, technology, because you only read about football. I had a student like this. He had to prepare to IELTS in under a month, and he only read about sports because he was a huge sports fan. So he loved reading about football, basketball, tennis, and this was literally the only source of his English vocabulary. So you may imagine that his vocabulary overall was quite poor and he only could talk about sports. Do not do this. Also, we have listening, and that's podcasts and audiobooks, a large variety of them. But here also be careful. You probably don't want to listen to an audiobook about romance and love when you prepare for IELTS, because you will need to build this IELTS related vocabulary. And of course, watching. We have videos and lots of lessons available on YouTube, for example, that really make you knowledgeable about problematic issues that there are in the world, and many of these issues have to do with the IELTS topics as well. Good. Let's talk a bit about the Part 3 structure. How do we approach any question there is in the IELTS speaking Part 3? Well, first of all, you of course answer the question directly. There are so many people who try to answer the question from very far, somewhere, you know, they start like, oh, I want to tell you about one situation in my life that I was so inspired of because it happened when I was sitting with my friends and talking about vocabulary, and this was related to nature, right? And they get to the bottom of it only in the end. And this humongous sentence that exists, God knows why, just fails the whole answer, because remember, your first sentence of your answer must be very direct. It must really address the question that you have. You must let the examiner know what your opinion is right away. Don't let them wait for 10 minutes until you get to it. Then think about your structure. We will talk about it a bit later. And of course, expand your answer. I will go into let you know different things on how to expand your answer and different ways to it. So, answer the question directly. Let's talk a bit more about this. So, for example, we have the same question. Do the efforts of a single person have an impact on the world as a whole? Your first sentence might be this. Absolutely. I firmly believe that every single person has the ability to significantly influence the society overall. What do we have here? Well, first, I directly address this question. I give my direct opinion right in the first sentence. I don't start from, oh, there was one time, or maybe I will tell you this and this, or like, let me think. There are people who literally start like this, and I don't know why they're doing this. Maybe they think that this gives them a boost in their language abilities, when in reality it does not. So you just make sure that you directly answer the question right away in your first sentence. Also, what do you see here? We have paraphrased lots of words from the question. We have influence instead of impact. We can also go a bit further and paraphrase every single person. We can say every single individual or every one of us. We also use this collocation firmly believe instead of I think or I believe. This word firmly gives you points for the lexical resource, most importantly, because it just gives a bit more strength to your word believe. It's not just believe, it's firmly believe, right? It's a bit of a step forward so that you let the examiner know about your own emotions and attitude. Good. Next point. Think about your structure. Before you start running into this huge sentence, this huge answer, get a moment or two. I beg you, get a moment or two and think about your freaking structure, because let me know, so many people don't do it. Let me tell you. No, don't let me know this. Let me tell you. So many people literally don't do it. They just sabotage it, they just ignore it, and they start talking and talking and talking nonsense because they haven't gotten that minute to think about that structure, to build this framework in their heads. They're just like, okay, don't bother me. I'm going to talk until I'm dead, but I'm going to talk until the examiner stops me, which is a wrong strategy, by the way, because I want to show my fluency. The problem of this approach is that you will not be fluent, most probably, if your answer is this huge. If you don't have a structure, most probably you will just lose your train of thought in the middle and you will have to improvise something, and this will just deteriorate your coherence. So take a moment to think, what will you say next? Like, what are your really ideas? How do you ensure that the examiner follows your ideas? Can you build a framework in your head before you start speaking? Again, the same question, do the efforts of a single person have an impact on the world as a whole? Let's think what structure can be relevant to this question. First, add a bit of arguments. After we gave the direct answer, remember that in our first sentence we had a direct answer, then we also add a bit of arguments. Why do I think this way? Why do I firmly believe that every single person has a significant influence? I will give a bit of arguments. Then I will give a personal example. This will help me expand my answer. Then I will finish with an advice and conclusion. Expanding your answer is not only giving arguments and examples. You can also add explanations, you can add forecasts for the future, you can add your attitude, and of course, advice is great. I see a person writing one direct answer, second arguments. This is not correct always. Your answer might not have arguments on the second place. Think about your own structure. I see number 3 examples, number 4 conclusion. No, 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 please don't do this, because every single answer has its own unique structure. I do not give you a framework that fits all. No, I just show you that there are different ways to expand your answer and that you must think about them before you start speaking. Your answer might have completely different structure. It might have all of these things the other way around. It might have more or less of these things. It really depends on you. I am more of an enemy of the one size fits all. It's not like this. You cannot just take one structure and apply it to every single answer. This is wrong. You must be natural, you must be fluent, and your answer will be really unique because the questions will be different as well. Right, let's see how I do it. Again, I had arguments. For example, remember the question. The question was about if a person can influence the whole society. So my second point will be arguments. I will talk about the society being a big house built of bricks. I will talk about every brick representing an individual, and then I will finish this metaphor with the more bricks are strong, the better the house stands. This is kind of a metaphor that I will add to my answer. Then I have an example. My example will be about me always getting a reusable bag. That's not a bag, not bag, that's a typo, a bag where I put things to go shopping. Then I will also have a bit of advice. I would advise people to think of one easy action to take today, and I will advise people to do it regularly and inspire friends. And then in conclusion, I would wish for people to come together when facing global problems. So this is my personal structure. Again, every one of you might have a different structure, and that's okay. But this is how I would structure it. And ideally, I just took a moment and thought about it before starting speaking. So this is a sample answer that I came up with. Let me read it for you. Do the efforts of a single person have an impact on the world as a whole? Absolutely. I firmly believe that every single one of us has the ability to significantly influence the society overall. This becomes especially evident when you think about the society like a big house, every brick of which is an individual. The more strong bricks, the longer the house will stand. For example, being a person concerned with the environment, I always take a reusable bag when going to a grocery store. And I really hope one day every member of our society will live by the motto, be the change you want to see in the world. So this is a sample answer I came up with. You can analytically think about it. I will talk about this technique a bit further, but this is how my arguments and advice and explanations came together. How do you work with sample answers? I really want to share with you this approach that I have. I don't really see many people talking about this, but I really try to be analytical every single time I Google a sample answer, or when I write a sample answer, or when I see someone giving me a sample answer. I just don't simply consume it, I try to think, okay, what does it give me? What is the analysis I can perform so that this particular sample answer improves my own answers? When you are analytical, you really pay attention to vocabulary, grammar, structure, and coherence. These are at least 4 insights that you can get while looking at the sample answers and while working with them. I see a question, shall I take a screenshot, please? Of course, you can take screenshots, but for everyone who is present at this live stream, I will send this whole slide deck for you guys if you want. And in the end, I will tell you the secret word the secret phrase that you will send me, and I will send you back the presentation. So make sure you stay until the end and you find out the secret code so that everyone can get the slide deck for free. Absolutely. Okay, so vocabulary, grammar, structure, and coherence are the main points that you can uncover from sample answers. How do you do this? Let me show you. This is one sample answer on a completely different topic. Let's read it. Could you recommend some effective strategies for employers to ensure people have a good work-life balance? Remember the structure we were talking about. I'm honestly not an expert in this, but I'm sure employers can take up responsibility for their workers' work-life balance by adjusting the corporate culture. First, it would be nice for companies to offer flexible hours whenever possible, so that employees can have some time to spend with their loved ones. Another considerable improvement would be to shift focus of the staff from working longer to reaching goals more effectively. For instance, I can't thank my boss enough because he noticed I was staying up late and offered me a hand. We thus finished the spreadsheets faster, and the next day he bought me a course on Excel. Okay, this is a sample answer on a different question. You see that A just popping out of the spreadsheet. Okay, let's try to analyze it. How do we do it? First, we have two phrases here that really make our personality stand out. Remember, your answers must not be learned by heart, must not be memorized. If you memorize an answer, it's so evident. Examiners have hundreds of people every day, and they know how a memorized answer sounds. So, just let your personality stand out a bit. For example, here we have this two phrases. I'm honestly not an expert in this, and for instance. These two phrases give the examiner understanding of you having, you sharing with him or her your own ideas. So these are really your personal beliefs, right? Then phrasal verbs and idioms. You can see that here in the sample answer we have to take up, we have to stay up late, and we have to offer a hand. These are idiomatic language or phrasal verbs. They are great. They expand your vocabulary, and they also are good for your vocabulary resource band score. Again, I remind you, this is not just a sample answer for you, but this is also how you analyze these answers. You pay attention to what you can pay attention to. First, we paid attention to the personal phrases, then we're paying attention to phrasal verbs. What else do we got here? We also have collocations. Corporate culture, flexible hours, loved ones, considerable improvement, and I can't thank my boss enough. All of these are collocations. All of these are fixed phrases that are used naturally, because if you say business culture, this will not be a collocation. Corporate culture is more of the standard phrase that we use. It's not business culture, it's corporate culture. So remember, every collocation is different, and you must know how they sound. Then we have flexible hours. We don't speak about short hours, for example. We talk about flexible hours. We don't say that they are mild. We don't say mild hours, do we? No, we say flexible hours. We do say loved ones instead of favorite ones. We don't say favorite ones, we say, again, loved ones. So these are collocations that people use over and over again, and they are natural to the English language. And the examiner will also pay attention to this. How can we improve collocations? I see a question in the chat. Well, you read, like me right now. You see, I got this sample answer, I read it, and I found the collocations. I remembered them, honestly, and naturally, because when you read something, you take it down, you maybe look up a definition, and then you remember it. And it's the same with you. You just read or listen, and then you know this collocations and you remember it. This is how it works. There is no other way. Coherence. What do we see here in the sample answer that ensures coherence of it? We have cohesive devices like first, another improvement, for instance, and thus. They are cohesive devices linking words that make sure the answer is coherent and really well put together. Okay. And lastly, let's look at its structure. The structure of this answer is the following. First, again, we answer directly the question. I'm honestly not an expert, but I'm sure employers can take up responsibility for their workers' work-life balance by adjusting the corporate culture. You see, I give the direct answer in my first sentence. I don't say, I will now talk about how employers can ensure work-life balance of their employees. This sentence has no answer. This sentence just, again, paraphrases, in the best situation, paraphrases the question. Some people don't even paraphrase the question. They just repeat the question altogether. And this is their first sentence. This is not going to give you points. No, you must directly answer the question in the first part. Then we have arguments. I have two arguments, first and second. Two different arguments, two different ways of the employers to help their employees. Then I have an example from my own experience. This makes the whole answer more real. And lastly, I have a conclusion. I could also here, for example, add an explanation of why I think that. I could add my personal opinion after the example. I could add a piece of advice. I could add a forecast. I could add an example from a book, from a podcast, from my friend's life. There are so many different ways you can structure your answer and add and expand it, add a bit of definition to it. Okay, let's take a small break, and after the break, after I will read through the chat and maybe answer a couple of questions and drink some water, I will address the must-have components of a Band 7 answer. Okay, I see a question. Good one. Would you recommend using idioms during speaking or without using them? Can the candidate take a higher band score than 7.5 or 6.5 or 7? I definitely recommend using idiomatic language just because it's written in your band descriptors. The examiner expects you to use idiomatic language. You must do it if you want to score 7 or above. The other question is that idiomatic language is not equal to idioms. Idiomatic language, let me repeat it, is not idioms only. There are phrasal verbs, collocations, and idioms included in the idiomatic language. So using phrasal verbs like to take up or to stay up late, the ones that we had today, will of course send your band score for the lexical resource up and up and up. Again, one of the must-have components for your Band 7 plus answer will be speaking naturally. And I never recommend just memorizing a random list of idioms and trying to use them in your answer. This will kill your band score. It will not help it at all. So if you want to learn how to use them flexibly, then probably you should think about joining a course or something, because just learning a list of idioms will definitely not help you. You must use idioms that are taken from the context, that are natural, that really fit your answer naturally. Okay. Is it possible to speak only with simple vocabulary and grammar, but logically? Of course it's possible. Anything is possible. This question is a bit wrong, probably. You probably wanted to ask, will I get this band score 7 if I use simple vocabulary and grammar, or band score X. I don't know what your target band score is, but it is for sure possible. Anything is possible. So your question is a bit incorrect in this regard. If we use incorrect idiom in a sentence, well, your lexical resource band score will go down. Another question, would it be okay if I use template in IELTS Writing Task 1? No. If you want to score more than 7, definitely no. If you want to score like 5, 6, if that's okay for you, then yes, go for it. Use a template, memorize something. That's okay. If you are confident that a band score 5 or 6 will do, but if you want something better like band 7, then no. Not okay. Okay, let me read on. I see another comment. Your all advice really comes in handy. Thank you very much. Great idiom that you use as well. Okay, let's continue. Must have components of a band 7 answer. What do you think is this? Please let me know in the chat below. What do you think can be these 4 must have components? Maybe you think there are more, maybe less, I don't know. What are your guesses? Maybe not guesses, maybe something practical that you already use in your everyday life or in your IELTS preparation, maybe something that you have individually come up with, or maybe something that you saw somewhere. What might be the must-have components of a band 7 plus answer? What's your opinion? Still no answers. Oh no. Why? Why, guys? I'm waiting for your answer. Waiting for your answers, guys. Not going to go to the next slide until I see someone sending me some good guesses. I don't know, is this a delay or something? Or people just don't know? Okay, finally we have a person just honestly saying, I don't know. Great job, great job. This is also an answer. I don't know. Okay, vocabulary. The question is, what do you think are the must-have components? Like I have 4 here that are blurred. What are your guesses? What they might be? What do you already use in your IELTS preparation, in speaking, of course, to make your answer stand out? What do you think are the components of a good, solid band 7 plus answer? Vocabulary, good guess, good structure, amazing guess. What else? Needless to say, you are adorable. Thank you so much. Fluency, yes, a good guess indeed. Okay, what else? Let me see, two more, and we will move on. Connection words, marking criteria, good fluency, vocabulary, lexical resources. Interesting guesses. Speaking tone, coherence, telling the things sequentially. Okay, range of grammar, coherence, fluency, grammatical range. Wonderful. And see that I finished my water. Now I have some coffee. Okay, lovely. I see you guys having very, very solid guesses and very good answers. So thank you for this. Let's uncover the first one. Probably some people will be correct. Probably some people will have definitely told me a correct option. And yes, the first one is indeed grammar range. This is a very important component of your answer. Why is this so? Do you think grammar range is important? Do you think you can safely communicate without knowing any grammar? You know, there are some online, not only online, but just English schools that say, oh, don't worry about grammar. I will teach you how to speak English, how to know words, how to have good vocabulary. No one needs grammar. Who cares? Like, I literally know schools like this. Can you believe this? This is crazy because grammar range makes a lot of a difference in your answers. And here is why. I have 3 components of the grammar range band 7 and above answer. So it's not enough to know that, okay, grammar range is one of the components. Good. What else? What do you do next? Well, there are some stepping stones, I would say, to a good band score in your grammar range criterion. The first one is a full range of grammar structures, using a full range. Why? Because you want to show the examiner that your speech is varied. You want to show that you don't speak very narrowly, just having, I don't know, couple of structures that don't convey all of the meanings. You want to show the examiner that your speaking abilities are very multifaceted and multidimensional, meaning varied. I'm just using some synonyms here, not to repeat. Okay, for example, there are some tenses that you probably know: simple tenses and narrative tenses. Simple are present, past, and future. Narrative are continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. We also have more grammar structures other than tenses, like you see, many people think that grammar is equal tenses, and they start freaking out, and they start being very nervous and think, oh no, I don't know tenses, I don't know how to sequence them, I don't understand them, and they think, okay, the whole grammar is failed. Well, this is not the case, because there are more to it. There are more grammatical structures, and here is almost all of the English grammatical structures. There are a bit more, but these are the very important, the very major ones, I would say. And the component of your band 7 answer and above is a full range of grammar structures. Not only sticking to present simple, but also using continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous tenses if you have a narration. Not only using past simple, but also using conditionals and gerund. Not only using modal verbs, but also going for cleft sentences. Do you know what a cleft sentence is? A very nice tool for expanding your grammar range. Thinking of, okay, where can I use a reported speech in my answers? Can I cite an example from my friend's life using reported speech? Maybe I can use a wish somewhere, and wishes are structured in a different way, not just as simple or a narrative tense. So again, I repeat, to score band 7 and above in grammar range, you must make sure you use a full range of grammar structures, that your answer doesn't include only 1 or 2. It includes lots of different structures. Okay. For example, why do we have so many structures? You might think, okay, but this is a lot. Why do we have so many? Well, they all have their own reason to exist. They all have their own goal. For example, you use different tenses for coherently telling a story. So that, for example, in your speaking part 2, you have bullet points, you have a big story, and you want to make it coherent, and you use narrative tenses, different ones. Then, for example, modals for expressing attitude. When you say it might rain, or it could rain, or it can rain, All of these sentences have different attitude, so modals are used to express this. We have conditionals for, guess what, conditions, when something is not 100% clear in the future. We have relative clauses to build complex sentences. We have inversion and cleft sentences for emphasis, because they are great tools to give a bit more emphasis to your speaking. Right. What is the second one? The second one in the grammar range, the second component of your grammar range is producing error-free sentences. This is something you really must master if you want to score band 7 or higher. Why do you do it? Because you want to show the examiner that your speech is accurate. You show the examiner that you will go abroad and the people will understand you because you speak accurately and precisely, using proper grammar, of course. Here is a small sentence underneath. Can you spot grammar mistakes there? Can you spot any errors in this sentence? Let me know in the chat what might be the errors in this sentence. While we have a bit of a delay, I'll say that it is very important to show the examiner that your speech is proper in terms of grammar, because think of it, when you go abroad, you will need people to understand you, right? Imagine you write a letter of complaint and you use a wrong grammar structure that makes it just very difficult to understand for the person you wrote it to. And maybe that person cannot address your complaint properly because, for example, you mixed the present and past tense, and thus it doesn't make any sense, right? So I hope that you understand the importance of grammar, because some people think that it's just not important at all. Okay, I see some answers. People are commenting what they think is the mistake here. He injured. He has been injured. He was injured. Okay. What else? The injure is definitely, that injure part is definitely wrong. So being, okay, being may be wrong here, indeed. Before they were able, right, not bad. He has injured. Okay, being is wrong. Probably it is. He would injured. Why would? I don't know. Before is placed incorrectly. Probably it is. He has been coming. Interesting. Using wrong tenses. Yes, they are using wrong tenses. He has been running. Why running? Where is running here? He had been injured. Great. He had been injured. Great job. This is correct. Being is wrong. Yeah. He had been injured before they could get him to a nearby hospital. Wow, this is not bad. This really fixes lots of problems with tenses here. We don't need a word before maybe. Maybe we don't. We'll see on the next slide. He got injured. Yes, it's also possible he got injured. He has been injured. Probably not. Okay. So this is how it looks like correctly. He had been injured before they were able to get him to a nearby hospital, simultaneously trying to save his life. Why had been and were able? Because the past perfect tense is used to describe actions that happened before past simple actions. So he had been injured before they could get him to a nearby hospital. So we use these two tenses to sequence information and to let the examiner or someone else who is listening, to let them know about what is going on better, because if we didn't sequence the information, they would not be able to understand what's going on. So he had been injured, that's past perfect, and then they were able, that's past simple. Simultaneously trying is the gerund here. I have a weird question in the chat. We are being taught by you. I think that's me. Maybe there is someone else behind me. I don't know. Probably not. So probably you are being taught by me, I guess. I don't know. Can't be sure though. Maybe you're watching someone else instead of me. But I guess you are. Okay, that was weird. Why we use were able to instead of could? Good question. You could use both. You can say they could get him or they were able to. This is interchangeable. There is nothing wrong if you said could. Good, let's move on. We have another point of the grammar range success, something that you need to pay attention to make sure your grammar range band score goes up and up and up. Well, using structures flexibly. You make sure you use the grammar structures flexibly because you want to show the examiner that your speech is natural. You don't want to sound mechanical, or you don't want to sound like an old English professor. I don't know. There are, I have students in my Rocket IELTS course who create such long and difficult sentences that it's just not possible to understand because they think the more difficult words they will use, the better their band score will be, which is certainly not the case. But the more naturally you speak, the better your band score is. You must make sure your speech is natural, first and foremost. It's more important than building these sophisticated phrases that just seem out of place completely, okay? Read this sentence on the slide. Advanced schemes which might be favoring giving retired people additional remuneration will have been able to solve these tensions through government action. What? Like this, if I were the examiner, my only question would be, sorry, what did you say? Because a student who says this thinks that they are on top of the world, that they have tackled the speaking section and hacked the whole IELTS, which is definitely not the case, right? Because this does not sound natural. You might make do with such sentences in writing if you're writing something very formal, very strict. Maybe it might be the place, but definitely not in speaking. No one speaks like this. How do you think we can change this and improve this sentence? Well, I have a good alternative for you. Let's get rid of these very odd grammar structures. Might be favoring and will have been able. These are correct. This sentence has no grammar mistakes. This sentence is correct in terms of grammar mistakes. It is error-free. But the grammar here is very heavy. It's too sophisticated. It's too difficult to understand. You don't want this. Even though the grammar here is correct, you want your speech to be natural. So these two very heavy grammatical structures, modal verb plus gerund, might be favoring, and then will have been able. This is future continuous, future perfect continuous. Instead of these very difficult grammar structures that are just not used in such context, we can rephrase it to something more natural, like this. What the government can do for helping retired people is bringing forward additional remuneration. You see, this is not an easy question, easy sentence, because in fact, this is a cleft sentence. It is a very good grammar structure. Cleft sentences, you can Google it. But we have got rid of these very heavy grammatical structures, and instead we used this light and natural tone, even though it still seems semi-formal and rather, if I'm being honest, formal. It's not informal by any means. What the government can do for helping retired people is bringing forward additional remuneration. But it sounds simpler, right? It sounds easier. It sounds more natural. When it's not easy in terms of grammar, it's a cleft sentence. It's quite a solid and high-level grammar here. Right, does this make sense? Let me know in the chat if it really makes sense to you and if this is valuable and insightful. Also, are you taking screenshots? Are you posting on your Instagram story? Because after I finish this live stream, I will be very tired. I will be lying on my bed and just reading some of your Instagram stories, seeing all of your tags, seeing all of the questions and tags, questions, comments, and your opinions. There, okay. We are opening the next component. The next component, it is pronunciation. I remember some of you answered pronunciation, and this is amazing because it is indeed pronunciation. So grammar range, we've talked about that. Now pronunciation. What else is here? Two more components, and each of them has even more crucial stepping stones to your success. For example, in pronunciation, we have 3 more stepping stones. What are they? What do you want to remember when working on your pronunciation? You want to remember your intonation. It must be going up and down. You never have flat intonation. You want to learn more about word stress, and you want to emphasize words very accurately, because emphasizing them will really make sure that your idea gets through and that you express yourself clearly. Then you think about your accuracy. Unfortunately, during this live stream, I cannot open for you these locks because I simply don't have time. We cannot cover everything. We want to be focused on our part 3, and I gave you very clear overview of how to structure your part 3 answers, of how to analyze the sample answers that you might find online. I've also talked you through the first component of your band 7 plus band score. And now, unfortunately, we don't have time to work through all the other components. But the next one, again, will be pronunciation with all of these locks. It's a lot of information. You have to learn about intonation, word stress, and accuracy. A lot of practice here. Then the next component of your band 7 plus answer is lexical resource. How do you work with that? Well, of course, to get band 7 plus in your lexical resource, you also have some steps to take. You also have some things to improve and pay attention to. And these are paraphrasing, not only synonyms. Remember, paraphrasing is not just synonyms. And in the Rocket IELTS course, I will tell you about more than 4 different ways of paraphrasing. It will be very useful for your reading because you will understand how to find words correctly in the reading passage when you acknowledge what types of paraphrasing there are and how they might change what you see in the question and what you see in the text. Also, for your speaking, it is very important to use less common words and less common collocations. And this is, again, quite important, and it's such a huge topic, but I just physically don't have time right now to talk about all of this right now. So having to move on. And of course, idiomatic language. It's very difficult here to explain, forgot the word, to explain how idiomatic language works in this live stream, because guess what, we don't have time. But I just want to let you know that yes, you must use idiomatic language in your answers, but remember, idiomatic language does not equal idioms. It comprises idioms, but not only them. So again, in my Rocket IELTS course, I talk all about the different types of idiomatic language there is and how they're used in context and how you can use them to bring your speaking to a new level. And the last component of your Band 7 Plus answer is coherence and fluency. Everything that I talked about today, it kind of gets all tied up beautifully when you use correct coherence and fluency devices. So again, there are 3 components to coherence and fluency that ensure your Band 7 success and above. And they are trying to avoid repetition altogether, trying to build this continuing speech, developing the topic very thoroughly and answering the question completely, and then of course obviously using signposting language and cohesive devices, which are your best friends if you want to build this coherence and fluency in your answers. And again, unfortunately, these are such huge topics with lots of explanations, lots of examples, lots of theory that goes into them that I just am not able to cover them right now, because otherwise we will have to sit here for hours and hours and hours. And you know what? There is much more to it. We just talked about part 1, part 2 on our speaking bootcamp. We talked about the part 3 here in this live stream, but there is reading. There is listening, there is writing, there are modal answers, there is coherence and cohesion for writing, there is fluency for speaking, there is paraphrasing for listening, there is multiple choice questions for for reading and listening. There is so much more that goes into your IELTS success. And today we have just touched upon it. In this, this is really the knowledge that we got today compared to this huge amount of material and knowledge you really have to have if you want to score overall Band 7 and above. And I am ready to give it to you because, you know what, I scored 8.0 with under a month of preparation. And before we move on, before I give you this huge secret that I have for today, I remember that I promised to share my own story of success. So I personally am Russian. You probably might not notice this because I have quite a British accent, and this is the result of my long work on my accent and years of work that I put into it. But there was a time when I graduated from my bachelor's degree and I really wanted to improve my quality of education because my bachelor's degree was just not that great. I set myself a very high bar, a very high goal of getting into the best business school of Russia and Eastern Europe for my master's. And this is when I had to take IELTS to prove my English level because all the education there was in English. So I was such a procrastinator. I just procrastinated like crazy until I had 3.5 weeks until my test. And I was at the B2 level at the time. This is band score 6. My first mock test that I took at home, it was band score 6. So I had just 3.5 weeks until my exam date. And I procrastinated like crazy again. Like I didn't do anything until one day I woke up and I was like, what day it is? Oh no, it's less than a month until my IELTS test. I jumped out of my bed and I gave my word that I would not leave my house until I prepared fully and took the test. This is what happened. I technically left my house once because I had to go to a library, and I got myself an IELTS prepared for myself, a very strict plan of action. I took a test, and I identified my strengths and weaknesses and how I should progress with them, and what books to use, what materials, how do I cover these blanks in my knowledge, how do I move on and make them my strength. So I created that solid plan for myself, and you know what? It worked. At the end, I took the test and I scored at the first attempt 8.0 on my IELTS academic, with 9 in reading and 9 in listening, which was such a success for me. And if I prepared more, I would probably score 8.5. I was unfortunately, I was so devastated, if I'm being honest with you, that I got just 8. I was hoping for 8.5. Yeah. Procrastinated means postponed. Yes, it means delayed. Like, I was delaying my preparation like crazy. I would just not start because I didn't want it. You know that feeling when you have this huge task that you need to overcome, but you just don't start. You do everything not to start. You scroll your Instagram, you watch movies, you go IELTS test. This is why I unfortunately was left with only 3.5 weeks of prep. But regardless, I did it, and I got 8.0 at my first attempt. And I have this strategy that helped me to jump from B1 to B2, from B2 to C1 in under a month. I was so motivated. It's crazy. I just hated my previous life because my bachelor's was not something I wanted for myself, and I knew I was deserving something else, something better. So this is why I was incredibly motivated, and I just worked every single day very hard to achieve this. So I took this strategy that worked for me and I put it inside the Rocket IELTS course. If you have never heard about my course, this is a very interactive 100% online IELTS course that I built and included there all the knowledge, all the strategies that I have, so that everyone else from my students can benefit. I included there all the IELTS modules, explanations, theory, examples. I included there 4 huge modules with vocabulary. I included there practice with the native speaker, lots of different calls. I included their detailed feedback on your speaking and writing. I included their sample answers that score high in speaking and writing. I grade your essays and correct them during the course. I give mock tests, full mock tests in the beginning and in the end, so that you can notice your progress and understand how much you've improved. I give lots of motivation and support to every single course member, because we build this community of incredible, like-minded people from all over the globe who also want to take the test and who share this experience, knowledge, the ways of tackling questions, who get support and motivation every single day. So I created this for all of my students to help them grow, because I know how much this strategy helped me grow and helped me change my life completely, because since then I got into the best business school of Russia and Eastern Europe, and then I also studied simultaneously in the best business school of Switzerland. I mean, isn't this just crazy? I would never in a million years back in my days think that I would be able to achieve this. Like, honestly, I remember one day going to this business school that I ended up getting into. I went there at my bachelor's for an open event, and I just sat there, I looked at this amazing building and all of these amazing business people, and I thought, I would never be a student here. I would never study here and get a scholarship. Like, these were my precise thoughts. And guess what? Couple of years later, I was sitting there with fully funded education. I never paid for education in my entire life. All of my education was free. And I did it. My life has changed. I don't know what else to say. And I want every single student of the Rocket IELTS course to change their life as well. We start on April the 5th. This is the next intake that starts on Monday, April the 5th. And this course lasts for 8 weeks. 8 weeks of incredible work every single day. These are just some testimonials, some results of the students who took the course previously. This is Nadia from Russia, by the way. Her result is that in the first mock test, she came to me with the overall band score of 6. After the course, she got overall band score of 7 with +1 band score increase in her mock test. This is her opinion on the right. She said that the course has given her a comprehensible structure of the exam and encouraged her to develop different skills to be efficient when sitting the test. So I'm very happy for her so that she jumped from 6 to 7. We have Huda from Egypt. She jumped from 7 to 8 in just under 2 months during the course. This is amazing in my opinion. 8 opens your doors even to Oxford, if you didn't know. The target band score 8 is the target for Oxford programs, for example. This is Surayo from Kazakhstan. She was such a diligent student. She also grew her band score from 6 to 7 under 2 months of preparation, and she's also very satisfied with the course because she practiced so much with the native speaker from the UK during the course that it really allowed her to boost her speaking and writing on all of the other modules. Like, just look at that reading boost from 5.5 to 7.5 +2 bands there. So during the course, what would you have? Like, if you go for it and if you decide to join me in the next batch, in the next intake, you will follow a very clear preparation trajectory aimed at 7+ band score with more than 50 unique video lessons. You will also get all the necessary information for 4 IELTS modules, explained in detail. You will get from me 4 blocks of vocabulary, what to do on the test day and after, and so much more. We even have a bonus lesson about GMAT for those guys who want to get into business schools. You will also practice speaking with another course member. By the way, do you remember that you get at the end of this session the code phrase for the slide deck? If any of you wants to get the slide deck, make sure you stay until the end so that you learn the code phrase and also the feedback to your speaking sessions. Don't forget about that. Okay, during the course, we practice a lot with me and with Matthew Edwards. He is a native speaker from the UK who is a guest speaker at the course. He hosts so many lessons and video calls there so that 2 times per week students can practice with him as well. And then I will also break down the anatomy of IELTS essays. We will work on the 4 assessment criteria for the IELTS essays. We will improve grammar and vocabulary and, of course, use Band 9 model essays to perfect your writing so that you know where to strive and what to go for to write even more beautifully. And the course is all full of the feedback, so you will see all of your improvements along the way because we will track each student's progress from the beginning until the end. We will have the mock test in the beginning and then the mock test in the end, and we will clearly see your progress and how much you've improved. And then you will of course get detailed breakdown of your mistakes and strategies for improvement. I will not only review your essays but also tell you clearly where you lack and how to improve that so that your writing and speaking tasks skyrocket to Band 7+ band scores. So I am sure that with my step-by-step system, you will boost your IELTS skills and self-confidence in these 8 weeks with lots of practice and feedback from me because, again, I've changed my life completely because of the IELTS test, and I'm so inspired to help you guys change your life as well, to get that job abroad, to get that education abroad that you want, to get that scholarship, to move abroad finally, and stop waiting for it to happen. We will all die soon, if you don't know that. This is what I'm thinking every single day. Okay, I'm dying soon, in like 60 years probably. That's too soon, so I would better go work. So this is just my message to you. Why not to do it right now, right? And of course, remember that every single day on the course, you will be surrounded by like-minded people who will constantly support and motivate you. You will not be lost or alone or not knowing what to do next or not knowing with whom to talk. We will be there for you. And have I told you that there are also gifts? There are amazing gifts for people who work hard. We have 2 subscriptions for free, the Netflix subscription and Audible subscription for the 2 best students on the course who showed their consistency, resilience towards errors, of course, and diligence. I'm happy to buy and give to you guys, the best students of the course, these subscriptions so that you can further improve your English. I see a good question. What is the minimum level of English to have to participate in the course? That's A2 or better B1. Right, what exactly do I prepare for you? Well, I have 3 packages of this course. I have a VIP package that includes all of the 4 IELTS modules, explanations, tests, materials, exercises. I have 4 vocabulary modules with authentic sources. I have 3 additional modules after the test about motivation, about setting goals. I check your homeworks very thoroughly. I check your writing and speaking. I give you mock and placement tests. We have 12 video calls with the trainers. Then you get also a certificate of completion. You get closed chat groups with your VIP members, VIP chat group with 24/7 support, and a final mock test discussion with me. Like, this is honestly everything you need to score band 7 or higher. If you have this and you don't score band 7, you probably don't work. I see a question, how much time you took to move from B2 to C1? 3.5 weeks. I will retake the exam next month. See, this person is going to retake the exam. Do you know that the exam costs $250 on average? So Miriam has already wasted $250 and the time of her life to prepare for the test, to take it, and to fail. I don't want the students of the Rocket IELTS course to have the same thing happening in their life. This is why I have the course, because no one from the course is retaking the test. It's, in my opinion, it's the worst thing that can happen when you retake and retake and retake and you waste so much money and time. Why to waste all of these resources if you can take the course once, learn all the strategies, and then save your money and save your time on doing this again? Like, this is the main idea of the whole education, to save your resources. Stop wasting your money and stop wasting your time, please. Then the next package is the standard package. If you don't want the VIP support, the final test discussion, you also get slightly less video evaluation and checks and feedback from me. And then if you are confident in yourself and you want to study just on your own, you can get the self-study package, where you just get all the theory and practice with automatic homework checks. You don't get here my personal support, you don't get video calls with trainers, you don't get model answers or evaluation, but you can study on your own here. I see another comment. I have been practicing for the last year, but still couldn't score 6 in reading and writing. Come to the course. Like, this course is created for you so that you stop wasting your year of life, the whole year that you are doing this and you can't yet score the band score that you need. Can you imagine? I did it in 3.5 weeks, and I know how to teach you. Do it. Definitely not in a year, but faster, right? Also, another thing that I want to to warn you about is that I see so many people who really need the course because they retake the test. That's such a waste of money and time. They practice for 1 year and they still can't get the band score they need. Again, such a waste of time and probably money. Maybe that person paid for that preparation. And so many people definitely would benefit from this course. But this time I'm keeping the course intake very small. I limit the number of places there are because I want to give my personal attention and I want to give very detailed feedback to every single person on this online training. So I have a priority list. Everyone who is watching right now who has signed up for the priority list in the past, please check your emails because my team is currently sending you an email with the opening of the sales. You will be able to buy the course and your spot is guaranteed for you because the spots this time will be very limited, and I must make sure that everyone who is on priority list and who signed up for that gets a 100% guaranteed spot. So be on the lookout for that email right now. It goes to you guys. A question in the chat: are you providing online classes? Yes, I am. This is literally what I'm doing. I'm talking to you and explaining you right now my online course. When you're going to start groups on April the 5th. So what are the prices here? We have $260 for the VIP, we have 190 for the standard, and we have $90 for the self-study. But the good news here is that it's not only me on the course, but we prepared that all-round support with me, and I have taught more than 300 students. I have my own strategy on how to prepare in less than a month and sharing that experience and strategies with you. But we also have Matthew Edwards, who is a native speaker from the UK and who is such an incredible person who supports every single candidate on our course and who helps during the study process and of course runs a lot of video calls with the participants. The good news here is that the people on this live stream will get the best price for this course and the best offer because I want to thank you for being with me and for listening to that information. I know that it was very valuable for you, so this is my gift for you. So probably that's another gift. I prepared for you 30% discount for everyone from this live lesson. Everyone who wants to get to the Rocket IELTS course, on top of all this incredible information that you got during the IELTS Speaking Bootcamp about part 1, part 2, part 3 answers, about the every single component that gets into the Band 7 Plus answer, I also give you another gift of the 30% discount for the Rocket IELTS course. And that means that the VIP course for you will cost not $230, but $180. The standard course will be not $190 but $130, and then the self-study will be just $75. That's the lowest prices only people from this live stream can get. Find the link please in the description box. If it's not in the description box, it will be in the chat right now. I'm sending you the link to this course, and this is where, oh, I'm sorry, it's not that. This is where you can book yourself a spot because this time the spots will be limited. Again, I am reducing the number of places on the course. I really want only the people who are the most motivated and the most diligent about their IELTS preparation to get this course. So, the link right now is there. I'm limiting the number of spots. Hurry up. Okay, so this is how you can how you can get to that course. The link is in the description. Not in the description, I'm sorry, in the chat. Again, we start on April the 5th. This will be your next achievement in 2021. I will be so happy to see you. If you are unable to open the link, just copy it to your browser, because that's probably the chat limiting your the links in the chat. Again, you just copy. Okay, now it's clickable. Now it's clickable, just click on it and it works. Perfect. So secure a spot, because again, I am limiting the number of spots. I really want to give every single person my attention, and this is why this intake that starts on April the 5th will be less and less and less than the previous intakes. Now, secret phrase for the gift. For everyone who stayed with me until now, there is the secret phrase, Rocket Gift. You can send me this phrase on Instagram or on Telegram, anywhere you find me. My handle is always the same. It's d-St. Martin, and send me this code phrase, Rocket Gift, so that I can send you back the beautiful slide deck. This one with all the tips, all the strategies, everything else we talked about with you today, so that you don't forget it and you can implement for your IELTS speaking part 3. Perfect. Let's now talk a bit about the feedback that I have to all the IELTS speaking bootcamp participants, to everyone who participated and sent me their practice recordings. So I noticed that the majority of people never paraphrase their answers. They just go for their answer in the same way they had all the wording in the question. They never paraphrase it. They never think, okay, what kind of synonyms or other ways of paraphrasing I can use, which is definitely not something you want for a Band 7+ answer. And you remember, right, all of the components of a good answer, and paraphrasing is one of them. Some people tend to confuse past and present tenses. They just mix it up, or they don't pay attention to the grammar rules at all, and they have their grammar structures all over the place. Again, range of grammar structures flexibly, using a full range is one of the components of your successful answer. Then we have mispronunciation of words. You might have an accent, it's not a problem, it's not graded on the IELTS test. Having an accent is okay, but mispronouncing words, mixing sounds and pronouncing wrong sounds really affects your band score badly, in a bad way. So definitely don't do it. Always listen to how words are pronounced before you remember them. Unfortunately, many people misuse vocabulary. They just think that, okay, again, like this fancy, sophisticated word, I must use it because it will probably boost my lexical resource band score. When this is not the case, this word ends up being used in a wrong context. It ends up being used without proper adverbs or adjectives, and just painful to see. Don't do it. Come to the course. We will work on your pronunciation and make it solid, make it always correct, and you will never again misuse a word because you don't know how it's used in the context. For example, so many people say give exam. Like, that's crazy. So many people love this phrase. They also say, oh, I gave the exam 2 times. I gave IELTS 5 times. Poor guy. He wasted so much money on that. But that's false. The correct wording is to take an exam or to sit an exam. And no one for some reason says this. Like, so many people say to give an exam. Why do they do it? I don't know. Probably in their native language they have this this kind of parallel phrase, but not in English. In English we say take an exam or sit an exam. Notice there is no other preposition here in the phrase. Okay, now it's time for your questions. As you offered 30% discount, the pricing should be $161 for the VIP. Are you sure about that? Because I will recalculate it right now. If that's a problem on the website, then we will definitely fix it. Yes, it's correct. It must be 161 if we deduct from the 230. Thank you so much for letting me know. That's probably the website problem. My team will fix it as ASAP. How can I reply to this? I will reply instantly. You're right. Thanks for noticing. What price is it right now on the website? It's 230 the full price, and the discounted price, and it should be 161. Okay. It should be 161 US dollars for the VIP. My team will change it as soon as possible. Yeah, that's a mistake on our end. Yeah. I have a team member sitting next to me, so she will change it right now. Thank you so much for being attentive and letting us know. Sometimes when you have a startup and you want to get everything moving fast, you tend to make small mistakes. So thank you so much for addressing this. We will change this as soon as possible. Okay. Any other questions? That's the time to answer your question, guys. Any other questions right now to me about your IELTS test, about anything else we talked with you today about? By the way, I will also add to the website some of the reviews of the people from the previous intakes. Are there topics about tenses and how to use them properly? Yes, there are. Well, this is not a course on grammar at all. Again, this is a course on IELTS skills specifically, but I have a lesson about grammar and about grammar structures for writing specifically that can boost your answer. So yeah, it's definitely there. But remember, when you enroll to the Rocket IELTS course, you must simultaneously work on your grammar as well. It's not just IELTS. It's also a mix. It's grammar, it's vocabulary, it's structure. Can you tell us or text an information about tenses? I can't, I'm sorry, because we are running out of time. And this is not a topic about today's live stream. Probably I will do a bootcamp on tenses next time or on grammar overall in the future. Why not? But it's definitely not today. Hi, I want to improve reading skill. When I read something, I feel sleepy. Come to the Rocket IELTS course. I'll tell you all about the active reading techniques so that you don't feel sleepy. I'll tell you about paraphrasing, how it works in reading, about how to tackle every single question type there is on reading so that you become the IELTS ninja. How to secure a spot. Sorry, I missed it. Just follow this link. Follow this link. I will paste it in the chat to secure a spot. Yeah. Daria, I admire you. Thank you so much, Sibo. That's so sweet. I admire you too. About payments methods, can I use Western Union? No, but you can pay directly on the website. don't need any Western Union to pay on the website. You just do it directly. You just input your payment details and you make the payments right there on the website. You just take any card you have. It can be a credit card, it can be a debit card, any card there is, and you just make the payment. That's it. And the payment works from any country out there. By the way, if you if you are from a country where it's not very often that people pay to Russia, then your bank may freeze the payment and you just need to call the bank and say that it's okay, I'm making a normal payment, everything is fine, and it will go through. Well, if you could create a group where in Discord and Telegram in which students can speak to each other, obviously free of charge. I laugh every time people write obviously free of charge, because how is that obviously? I spend my own life, my own expertise, my own time on this, and then someone says, well, obviously that should be free. How my life can be free? Like, this doesn't really make sense, right? I do have, on another note, groups on Telegram where people speak. And if you follow links in the description, you will come to my Telegram channel, that's World Speaks English, where I have groups where people speak to each other and practice their language. And on my Instagram, by the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram yet, on my Instagram account, I announce frequently speaking practice with Matthew, where he holds speaking group camp, not group camps, speaking group calls. I'm just sending to the chat the link to my Instagram account, and when you subscribe to me, you will get notifications about speaking group calls with Matthew. They are free of charge, yes. Can you please tell me who is in the World Speaks English team? In the World Speaks English team, we have incredible people. We have Matthew Edwards, who is a native speaker from the UK. He is from Manchester. He supports every single student on the course, and not only on the course, but also in the community overall. He holds great, absolutely, in my opinion, packed with information and value group calls for our students and for every other person in the community. They are free of charge, and he gives so much feedback. We also have Huda, who is one of the students from our previous Rocket course intakes, and she has incredible English. She improved her IELTS score so much during the course, and I saw how hardworking she is. So I invited her on the team, and now she also works with me. So I tend to get some students from the Rocket IELTS course and invite them to my team, because I know how hardworking they are. How did you make your English so good in 5 weeks? Well, my English is not... I didn't make my English good in 5 weeks. I have been learning English for 6 years. I just hadn't heard anything about IELTS until the month I had to prepare for it. Like, I had 3.5 weeks since the first day when I heard about IELTS than when I had to take it. I didn't have a lot of time for my IELTS preparation, but I've been learning English for many years. That's a different thing. Daria, thanks for this bootcamp as well. Next time that would be better if you could if you could go live on Instagram talking again. Read this one, you enlighten, reading one, and okay, the reading bootcamp and this one, you enlightened me. I'm very happy that you joined. Thank you so much for joining the IELTS reading bootcamp and the IELTS speaking bootcamp. We had lots of info shared, and that's just a tiny bit of what you will have on the Rocket IELTS course. It's literally like this. And on the Rocket IELTS course, you will have this much of information with many explanations, with lots of practice, much more than you have on the band bootcamp. I'm starting to forget words. Someone says, can you make a session on Telegram or Bootcamp so that we can communicate with you effectively? No, probably I can't, because I will be busy with the Rocket IELTS course. It starts very soon and I will be holding my sessions there. So I will not have time for public free sessions. I will probably use the time that I have to deliver more value to the Rocket IELTS students. And if you forgot, these are the packages. We have the VIP package reduced in price right now on the website, but these are the packages, and this is what you get inside the course. And we have lots of video calls here for all the students. I will unfortunately not have time for public free sessions as of now, for the time being. And yeah, we start on April the 5th. And let this be your next achievement in this year. The year has just started. You still have time to make achievements. So that's a good start. You will have time to take the test in summer and then to apply for scholarships and university in autumn. Good. Any other questions? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. You're a great teacher. Thank you. Thank you so much for your golden advice. Thank you a lot. By the way, it's not advices. Advices has no plural form. Advice is only used in the singular form because this is an uncountable noun. We cannot count advice. We say a piece of advice or 2 pieces of advice or lots of advice, but the advice is always singular. We cannot say advices. This is wrong. Please don't do it. Okay, waiting for you guys asking more questions and waiting for you guys joining the course, because I will be incredibly happy to see you there. We can have a moment to look at the results of the previous students, where every single of these students, like look at this, they improved from the overall 6 to 7, from 7 to 8. This is Huda, who works currently on my team as well, because she was so diligent and hardworking from the course. I loved it and I invited her to work with me. And this goes from 6 to 7, Surya from Kazakhstan. And we have people from all over the globe right now, which is so exciting. Yeah, so I want you to be one of them. Why not? Why not to achieve such great results in less than 2 months and going abroad, pursuing your dreams? I think this is the best you can do for your IELTS and English overall. Remember, we have more than 50 unique video lessons. You will not get these video lessons anywhere on my channels. They are uniquely filmed for the course. We have all the 4 IELTS modules broken down in detail. We have 4 blocks of vocabulary on top of the IELTS modules. We have lessons on what to do on the test and after the test, how to apply for re-evaluation. We have lots of practice sessions with other course members and with me and Matthew. We have broken down the anatomy of IELTS essays. We will work on the 4 assessment criteria with you. You will improve your grammar a lot, because there is a grammar lesson inside, even though that's not a grammar course. You will for sure improve your vocabulary related to writing a lot and to speaking, and you will use Band 9 model essays to perfect your writing for sure. Do you know how much band is required for UK visa exam? Depends on the system of points, and I think the minimum must be 5 or something like that. You should check on the official website of the UK immigration. But the higher band score you get, normally the easier for you it is to get the visa. Can you give any word which can use for bar chart? I'm not sure what you're talking about, but if you go to the course, you will for sure learn how to describe bar charts, because we have a humongous lesson all about task 1 for academic and task 1 for general. The course is suitable for both academic and general modules, and we work a lot on writing, and I give lots of feedback and detailed advice on how you can improve. And what's good about the course is that you definitely see how you can improve along the way and how you have improved, because you have the 2 mock tests in the beginning and in the end, and you track your progress during the course. You see, okay, this is what I had in the beginning and this is where I went in the end, which I think is just incredible. What else? The detailed breakdown of all of your mistakes, because I think this is the most important thing for your progress. Not only seeing the theory, right, how you must do it, but also doing this and getting detailed feedback and breakdown of your mistakes in the speaking and writing sections. This really makes you move forward faster and faster, because you know how you are assessed based on what and how to improve and how to deliver even better quality next time. Can you tell me what things people have to prepare before preparing for IELTS? Such a great question. I think joining the Rocket IELTS course, because there is everything one person wants to know about IELTS. Every single point to know about the test is included in the course. Like, the course is useful for people who don't know anything about the test. They can come and learn everything there is about IELTS and how to tackle every single question. What is the difference between UK visa and IELTS? Almost no difference. The UK visa IELTS test is taken strictly in authorized IELTS venues, but the content of the test is the same. What is your level before you took IELTS and when you take it? Again, before I took the test, when I just started preparing, my level was B2, it's upper intermediate, and then I had 3.5 weeks to prepare and I scored 8.0, which is C1 level. It was a couple of years ago, so now I probably would score 8.5, but I don't have to retake the test, and I never had to retake the test, so this is why I only took test once. But if I do go now and retake the test, my overall score would be probably 8.0, because I've improved along these years of working and teaching, of course. How to generate ideas. We've already talked about this a lot today, so definitely come to the course. We have a whole lesson on generating ideas for your writing and speaking. This will be very valuable for you, because I have 3 frameworks, at least 3 frameworks on the course on how to effectively generate ideas for any essay or any speaking answer. And hopefully I will be able to change your life in the same way I did with mine. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. How can I make sure that I'm ready to book for the test when you are done with the Rocket IELTS course? Hopefully you will come to the course, and once you're done with it, you can go for it and book the test, because you will know everything there is to know about IELTS. I suggest you to book the test when you know how to tackle every single question type, when you know what grammar is expected from you, what kind of vocabulary to use, when you are confident in your structure of speaking and writing answers, when you know how they are graded and what the examiner expects from you in writing and speaking, when you know how to address everything that is expected from you and what are the skills to learn during your preparation. Like, when you know all of this, you can book the test, and this is what you will learn during the Rocket IELTS course. So I definitely recommend you not wasting money and time on retaking the test, and just take the course and go book the test. I guess on this note, I will just remind you about the discounts, the 30% discounts that we have for everyone here on this live stream. And on this note, I will thank you all, guys, for this time, for this quality practice we had together, for this quality learning that we had together right now. And I will be very happy to see you on the Rocket IELTS course. Another question about linking words used in speaking. We will talk about this on the Rocket IELTS course, and I have a lesson about linking words specifically where I give a huge list of words and how they're used in context. So if I get 5.5 in UKV exam, so I go applying for a student visa or I take exam second time on the requirements of the employer or government or anyone else who invites you, the requirements that they have. You're absolutely amazing, and thank you so much. Thank you very much for being here and for working productively with me today, for learning so much with me today. It was definitely some time that you've spent for your own improvement, and you've invested in yourself, in your brain, in your knowledge, in your further future development. Thank you for being here as well, and I will see you very soon on the Rocket IELTS course, hopefully, and for sure on my Instagram or in my community, World Speaks English. I will be very happy to see you guys there as well. Thank you, and have a good night or day wherever you are. And now I'm tuning off.